선수는 공격을 하셨습니다. 신재훈 대문의 등장. 말도 안 되는 기적을 만들어내는
정 최초 이연속 우승을
출줄 모르는 힘의 러시로 가운데 최고 변현재.
브리법 스튜디오 라이브 ASL에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
시즌은 청춘과 열정, 젊음을 대표하는 에너지 드링크 핫팩스와 함께합니다. ASL 시즌 13 24강 개막전 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 지난 시즌 생애 첫 우승을 향해 도전을 했던 두 명의 선수, 변현재 선수와 유영진 선수의 풀세트 접전까지 갔던 그 결승전의 여운, 아직까지 많은 분들이 기억하고 계실 것 같은데요. 그 열기를 그대로 이어받아 오늘부터 ASL 시즌 13이 시작됩니다. 특히 이번 시즌은 지금 최고의 주가를 달리고 있는 선수들과 더해서 또 오랜만에 ASL로 돌아온 선수들까지 있어서 그 기대감이 증폭되고 있는데요. 과연 또 이번 시즌은 어떤 스토리들이 만들어질지 그 첫 단추를 화려하게 장식해줄 4명의 선수와 함께하겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 도재욱 선수와 인사 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
가장 최근에 펼쳐졌던 ASTL에서의 맹활약, 아직까지 많은 분들이 잊지 못하고 계십니다. 또 개인전으로서도 화려한 부활을 좀 알려주셔야 할 것 같은데 컨디션은 어떠신가요?
일단 오늘 컨디션 자체는 나쁘지 않은데 일단은 준비도 잘 해왔고 그래서 자신은 있긴 한데 조금 변수는 있긴 한 것 같아요.
어떤 선수가 가장 변수로 좀 등극할 것 같나요? 이 3명의 선수들 중에.
일단은 제가 옆에 있는 유진 선수한테 예선하면 탈락한 적이 있어요. 그래서 이제 약간 좀 걱정되기도 하지만 이제 제가 한 것만 잘하면 이길 수도 있다고 생각합니다.
또 단판으로 진행되는 24강이기 때문에 그 변수에 대한 좀 위협감을 느끼고 있는 것 같은데요. 유진우 선수와도 인사를 나눠볼까요? 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 벌써 4번째 ASL 시즌을 맞이하고 계십니다. 또 지난 시즌에는 16강도 가셨기 때문에 이번 시즌 목표를 좀 상향 조정하지 않으셨을까 싶거든요.
네, 항상 예선은 뚫는데 오프라인 와가지고 항상 약한 모습 많이 보여줬거든요. 근데 이번에 좀 즐기면서 그냥 최대한 마음 놓고 많이 올라갔으면 좋겠습니다.
A조에 대한 느낌 충분히 즐길 수 있을 것 같은 라인업이라고 좀 생각이 드십니까?
그건 아니고 워낙 다 잘하는 선수들인데 그냥 제가 항상 준비를 많이 해오면 경기장에서 너무 제 플레이가 안 되더라고요. 그래서 약간 즐기면서 즉흥적으로 플레이할 예정입니다.
즉흥적인 플레이를 보여주겠다라고 밝혀주셨는데 김현중 선수와도 인사를 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
2시즌 만에 돌아오셨습니다.
네.
지난 시즌 좀 충격적인 예선 탈락이 있었는데 그 사이에 변현재 선수가 또 프로토스 우승자가 됐단 말이죠.
네.
김현중 선수 이 부분에 대해서 자극을 많이 받으셨을 거라는 생각이 또 들어요.
자극이라기보다는 현재랑 워낙 좀 친하다 보니까 자극을 받아야 좋은 건데 요새 좀 많이 그런 게 좀 부족하긴 해요. 네, 그래서 이번 시즌은 좀 자극 받아서 좀 잘 했으면 좋겠습니다.
기대되는 또 김윤중 선수의 대답까지 들어봤고요. 마지막으로 황병영 선수와도 인사 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
5번째 ASL 본선 진출이십니다. 매 시즌 진출하면서 무대에 올라오는 느낌이 또 다르실 것 같아요. 또 오늘 속한 A조 선수들, 워낙 또 ASL 시즌 10에서도 만났던 선수들이 좀 대거 포진해 있어서 마음가짐 자체는 좀 편안하지 않을까 싶거든요.
일단 시즌 중에 그래도 가장 오늘이 그래도 긴장이 제일 덜 되는 것 같고 이게 계속 무대 경험을 하다 보니까 긴장을 안 하게 되는 것 같아서 오늘 좀 연습한 대로 잘 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
오늘 전반적으로 개막전 경기임에도 불구하고 4명의 선수가 굉장히 좀 긴장을 하지 않고 있는 것 같다라는 느낌을 저는 현장에서 지금 받고 있는데요. 자, 팬분들은 또 이 4명의 선수들에게 어떤 점이 궁금하셨을지도 전해드리겠습니다. 먼저 도재욱 선수입니다. 매 시즌 에스크 ASL 도재욱 선수의 질문하면 따라오는 키워드들이 있죠. 알고 계신가요?
뭐 이번엔 다르다 그런 거 아닌가요?
또 하나.
뭐 대회 뭐 그런 건가요?
믿음,
네.
기대.
네.
자, 이런 키워드들이 따라붙는 도재욱 선수인데요.
네네.
도재욱 선수가 공지를 또 올려주셨더라고요. 예선 통과하고. 이번에 속지 마시고 다르지 않을 수도 있습니다. 나는 이 글귀가 도재욱 선수가 좀 부담을 느끼나 싶었어요.
네.
이런 질문이 올라왔네요.
네네. 그냥 기대를 많이 하시다가 이제 뭐 제가 그 성적이 안 나오면 되게 약간 흑화하시는 분들이 많더라고요. 그래서 약간 좀 저도 마음 편하게 한 게 더 성적이 더 잘 나올 수도 있다고 생각을 해서 차라리 저도 이제 기대보다는 약간 좀 그냥 편안하게 그냥 올라가면 올라가는 거고 아니면 말고 이런 식으로 왔거든요. 그래서 약간 좀 그게 더 좋을 것 같아요.
네, 아마 많은 분들이 도재욱 선수가 누구보다 마음 편하게 경기에 임하시길 바라실 것 같은데, 자, 이번에는 유진우 선수에게 좀 올라온 질문입니다. 오프라인보다는 온라인에서 경기력이 좋은 것 같다. 아까 방금 전 유진우 선수 본인 입으로도 이야기를 해주셨는데, 긴장을 좀 많이 하시는 편이실까요?
아니요, 이제 긴장은 이제 오프라인에 좀 자주 오다 보니 긴장은 안 하고요. 그냥 제가 너무 준비를 많이 한 것 같아요. 항상 오프라인 올 때마다. 그래가지고 제 플레이 뜻대로 안 되면 그냥 게임이 꼬여버리더라고요. 그래서 그냥 집에서 하는 것처럼 그냥 마음 놓고 즉흥적으로 할 수 있게 할 예정입니다.
즉흥적으로 플레이는 하시더라도 결과는 어느 정도 머리에 시나리오를 쓰고 계실 것 같은데, 오늘 1위 진출 노리시나요? 아니면 2위 진출을 노리고 계신가요?
그냥 무조건 다 이기는 게 좋긴 한데 만약에 좀 운이 안 좋으면 끝에서 진출할 것 같아요.
알겠습니다. 김윤중 선수에게 질문 남겨주셨습니다. 시즌1 우승자인 김윤중 선수, 이후로 다시 우승하는 꿈을 꾼 적이 있나요? 라는 질문을 남겨주셨어요. 최근에 ASTL 시즌3 우승 트로피를 또 거머쥐고 나서 ASL, ASTL 멸망전 트로피를 모아서도 사진을 찍으셨다고 들었는데, 약간 트로피 컬렉터로서 다시 한번 이번 시즌 행보를 이어가겠다라는 다짐이신지도 좀 궁금하네요.
다짐은 그런데 솔직히 우승 이후에는 꿈꿔본 적은 없어요. 예, 시즌 1 때 이미 제가 그때 모든 운을 다 쏟아부었기 때문에 예, 그래본 적 없는데 한번 실력으로 다시 올라가서 우승해보고 싶어요. 예.
김윤중 선수의 저력이라면 또 충분히 노려볼 만한 자리가 아닐까 하는 생각이 드는데요. 황병영 선수에게 남겨주신 질문입니다. 최근에 커뮤니티에서 화제가 됐던 황병영 선수의 발언이 있더라고요. 알고 계시나요?
제가요?
네. 이 도재욱 선수가 황병영 선수에게 길 가다 번호 따인 적 있어? 라는 질문에 요즘은 많이 물어보지 않나요? 여성분들이 굉장히 적극적이시던데.
네.
라는 답변을 하고 나서 굉장히 화제가 됐습니다. 김윤중 선수 고개를 숙이시는데, 일단 이 답에 대한 다른 선수들의 생각을 좀 들어봐야겠어요. 김윤중 선수.
네, 제가 33년 살면서 저한테는 단 한 번도 그런 일이 일어나지 않았습니다.
지금 황병영 선수의 답변이 심히 좀 불편하다.
좀 짜증나죠? 없어졌으면 좋겠어요. 네.
유진우 선수 생각은 어떠세요?
병영이 얼굴 정도면 당연하다 생각하고요. 저 정도 생겨야 가능한 일이라 생각합니다.
흔하지는 않은 일이다. 일반화시키는 게 불편하다.
불편하지 않고 당연한 일이라 생각합니다.
황병영 선수, 이 자리를 빌어서 좀 하고 싶은 말씀이 있으실까요?
다들 겸손하신 것 같은데 한 번씩 있죠.
그만하세요. 많은 분들이 본의 아니게 황병영 선수의 답변에 좀 상처를 입으셔서 오늘 황병영 선수가 성적으로 좀 보답해주길 바란다라는 말씀을 남겨주셨습니다. 황병영 선수의 각오를 시작으로 네 선수의 각오를 차례로 들어보겠습니다. 각오 한 말씀 들려주시죠.
일단 이번 시즌도 마찬가지로 연습을 굉장히 많이 했고 오늘 항상 ASL 하면서 이제 좀 준비한 대로 그냥 다 보여주자라는 각오로 임하는데 오늘도 잘 준비했으니까 많이 기대해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 김윤중 선수.
네, 저도 오늘 열심히 준비는 안 했는데 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다. 결과로 보여드릴게요. 예.
기대하겠습니다. 유진우 선수 한 말씀 해주시죠.
네, 빨리 부스 가서 게임하고 싶거든요. 정말 설레는데 정말 재밌는 게임 했으면 좋겠습니다.
기대하겠습니다. 도재욱 선수 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
이제는 잘하겠다는 말은 못할 것 같아요. 근데 열심히 할 테니까 지켜봐 주세요.
자, 네 선수가 만들어갈 ASL 시즌 13 개막전, 과연 어떤 그림들이 또 여러분을 설레게 할지 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 자, 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 13 24강 개막전 경기입니다. A조에서 가장 먼저 살아남아 16강에 진출할 선수는 누가 될지 지금부터 개막전 경기 시작하겠습니다.
언리미티드.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to ASL Season 13. It's great to be back, and this is going to be a real kick-ass season, I'm sure.
Oh my God, are you kidding me, Tastosis? Is going to be better than that. It's going to be 2 kick-ass seasons in one. We don't have Flash, of course, he's in the military, but we have everybody else. It's like the most stacked lineup that we've actually had in years. Bisu's back, Jaedong's back, Rain is back. That's, again, everybody except Flash and like Larva is playing here.
That's right. And again, you know, I've said this in previous seasons, but I'll stand by my my words here. It's kind of nice to not have Flash here for a few seasons and see really where everybody else stands before we get him back here competing with everybody else.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see if it kind of remains. You know, the last couple seasons, last few seasons have had a lot of the same players up at the top, and we'll see if the old legends returning can switch that up a little bit. Now, you see the schedule here on the screen, of course. A huge amount of prize money. Someone's going to be taking that home. Is it going to be Mini again?
Yeah, this is more of a compacted schedule than previous ASLs in years past have been, especially for this portion of the tournament. So we are getting these recorded out as quickly as possible. If you're listening to this right now, no doubt we're already recording a whole bunch more behind this that are going to be released in succession. And after that, we should be pretty much caught up. Our Tastosis is back in Korea. And yeah, we got nothing better to do than get on these VODs and get them out to you guys. Again, thank you everybody who's been supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English. Your support has allowed us to carry on Brood Wars history with our casting into the world. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Very excited about this season. And you see there's a lot of new maps here as well that I'm really excited to kind of just figure out a little bit. These are the 4 brand new maps. Of course, we have Eclipse, Allegro, which is like Largo. It's like an alternate version of that, and Revolver. So those are all 3 maps that we've seen a decent amount of. But Butter, Monopoly, Metaverse, and Vermeer all joining in. Should be really interesting to see how those maps end up playing out. And what do you think about the racial distribution here, Tasteless? Does one of these seem to have more players than the others?
Looks like Protoss has fared well here, and honestly, I think that we could have a really strong Protoss showing overall here because we've got players like Rain that are back here. You know, obviously with Bisu returning, and then you compare that next to, you know, Best and Snow, Shuttle, who oftentimes really outperforms the other players. It could be Terran domination at the very end of the season or Zerg, but I just, you have to address the fact that we really have an all-star lineup for the Protoss race.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the type of shape that Bisu and Rain are in, but you got to count them as possible winners. And I do want to give a shout-out to Ruin, who, for me, is the best up-and-coming Protoss player right now. He almost killed Light last season, and I think that with time, he's going to be a guy that we're seeing in the round of 8 regularly.
And here are the groups that we have all laid out for us. And, you know, you can see here, I'm especially excited to see how Bisu is going to perform here in Group B. But I think any of these groups are ones that you can be really excited for. I think that perhaps Group A, out of all our groups, might be the easiest to call.
Okay.
But I think we are saving perhaps the most exciting group. If you're an old-school Brood War fan, we're saving the best for last year because JD is going to be debuting here.
Yeah, I got to say as well, Group E looks really, really frightening. JYJ and Sock both about top 5 Terrans. In there with Soma, that's going to be a lot of fun as well for me.
So today we've got Best, Shuttle, Barracks, and Beast. And, I mean, you tell me if you see this differently than I do, Artosis, but I feel like, you know, Best and Shuttle are probably the clear favorites here. I think Barracks has a shot. He's extremely good. Beast can be very unpredictable. He does know how to win. But Best and Shuttle have got such a history, especially in the last couple years, of really succeeding and playing amazingly.
Well, I think right now, like, Beast is still coming up pretty well, and he's pretty aggressive, so I could see upsets, especially against the Protoss players. But Barracks, specifically for the Terran race, he's one of these guys where his rank amongst Terrans is really in flux. So I am not counting him out. He actually, I feel like Barracks, there's a possibility he doesn't make out of the group, and there's a possibility he wins the group. He's super modern, and we got to keep our eyes on him tonight.
Yeah, let's see what happens with him especially. Best, I think, really beloved by even non-Protoss players. This guy's very charismatic. He's got, I think, a really fun play style. You know, occasionally he's straight up macro, and you can really respect it. But he also has a lot of really creative ideas that we've seen him experiment with. Unusual plays with Reavers, even getting Dark Archons. So I'm ready for anything here with Best this time around.
Yeah, and Best, like, this guy is the biggest underperformer in ASL. Like, it's very oftentimes that he is the best Protoss in the world. You know, like, I mean, you and I both definitely watch him a decent amount outside of ASL as well, and, like, even when he's in his best shape, it feels like it doesn't happen for him in ASL very often. So I'm
in this
slightly nervous
specifically.
For him.
Yeah. You know, it does sometimes take players a little bit longer to get, you know, where they need to be in that headspace and keeping their cool. You know, it sounds weird to say that about Best because he does seem so comfortable up there, but yeah, in a lot of his online matches, they don't look at all like you know, his studio performances here. But and you know, even some of the games he had played out here, I always go back to that mini game where he got cheesed out so fast I felt like we didn't even really get to see a series. But I think with each of these ASLs that he participates in, you gotta take that experience, take the strategies you chose to play, which has also been a big thing about Best, is sometimes in you know, intense tournament format like this, he's done sort of surprising openers, especially when there's best of ones, you know, at play here.
Yeah.
And you know, with Beast, this is a guy, like you were saying, very new. This guy's very strong. He certainly could try to pull a fast one here on Best. I think Best is going to have to play a pretty safe and stable game to start this off. How about you, Tastosis?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Let's get it into the mid or late game for Best. He's going to win. Let's do it. Game number 1 here. Best against Beast.
ASL's back. Yes.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, Eclipse, our first map. In the top right, we have Best. And in the bottom left, we have Beast. So Eclipse, our first map. Which, I tell you what, I really like Eclipse for PvZ. Like, it's just, I feel like it's a fun map for the matchup. I like how the third base is situated and ramped with a gas so that Protoss actually can get into that later portion of the game. What would you say?
Oh, I think this has been one of the funnest maps, I think, for a couple of the matchups, to be honest. I almost want more maps kind of like this, where they, you know, it's not just... how do I say? It's completely symmetrical. It's not too safe, right? I mean, the fact that you have these expansions in the bottom right and the double gas in the upper left make for some interesting plays here. As we've seen, this map pretty much become the most played competitive map in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
We definitely have started to learn that Protoss has a lot of ways to try to pick up the Zerg early on. You know, there is not an alternative third base that's easy to take. So there are you know, plays to block the hatchery and then interfere with the third. In this case, for the Zerg, that'd be just above the starting location here. But I do think that Zerg have a lot of plays on trying to split the map up here as well. And sometimes it can be very tough against a very turtled up Zerg to try to break them.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be the style that we'll be seeing out of Beast. You can see he is going for a pool first here, and Best with that quick scout. And look at this, attacking through the mineral patch. I love it. You know, he's going to be able to throw his cannons down before any Zerglings get there. But yeah, Beast is, you know, he leans aggressive. So I don't think it'll turn into a turtle match. And if it does, I think that's probably good for Best.
Yeah, Best is going to be leaning into, you know, one of the older, more orthodox builds we've seen here. You know, when people see this build, you know, it does give you the option to punish a Zerg with a cannon rush. if they did hatch first, but that's not why you do it. You're basically just setting up for a very safe, stable way to play the game. He did opt to throw down a pylon over here at the entrance to try to just delay that hatchery as much as he can. And this is sixlings, so you do want to be careful against 6 because one cannon can't quite stop sixlings from running in, so you need to block off your entrance or get another cannon. It really just depends on how the map is shaped. In this case, it would be a gateway block, and he's going to try to send this probe around here. He wants to see, is there a third hatchery? Has the gas been taken? Anything.
Dude, I think he's making more lings. Yeah, look at that. So maybe
Okay,
he's
so
going to
this
be
is
going
kinda-
into a like ling bust.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what this is. He's trying to keep the probe away from not just the natural, but the third base, would-be third base location as well here, right? You know, Best might just die, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
one thing about this build is, like, you don't have zealots. Like, when the cannon dies and there's enough lings, there really isn't, like, a plan B here. Like, your entire setup burns to the ground very quickly. And so, this is all going to come down to whether or not Best has the instinct to sense that a rush is coming, and is he going to block it in time? And we see the probes coming here now.
yeah, it seems like he does think something fishy is going on. The probe trying to come back around here and gets caught by more lings. He has a bunch of probes here at that wall, and out comes a zealot. So that's like a really good touch, but he does have that weak part of the wall at the bottom and only one cannon. Can you actually break through the gateway with this many lings?
So the gateway is not sticking out as much as it could be. It's placed pretty well, but you can still lose the gate. He also might try to just nudge the probe out of the way. Good control here by Best. He will actually cork that up right at the last second, which is really well done, to be honest.
Yeah.
But again, you cannot afford to have these lings get through. Okay, so with the second zealot there, effectively the only way now for Zerg to be able to break in is if he tries to tear down the gateway, but that's very hard with 2 zealots. We may be too far out.
This looks terrible for Beast right now. Look at this. He's going all in though. Like he is not mincing words here. There is nothing but Zerglings being made. He's on so few drones at the moment. So this is it. Do or die for our Zerg player.
Now, if the gateway does in fact become the target, which it should be here, you have to bring all your probes and try to close it off, and then either make another forge or another pylon. The instant the gateway dies, it'll pop up as an object and seal off most of what you've got. And look at this. A second cannon comes down long before the Stargate's even finished, because he knows most likely any good player would probably just continue with the all-in instead of trying to back it out into a normal game.
Well, Beast is getting ready here. A lot of lings being shown, but not all of them. Just a small amount. I think he's trying to bait those zealots out. And Best walks forward for a second, then backs up. With the second cannon finishing, though, it is impossible for me to believe that there's any way for Beast to break through here.
And a third cannon starts. And I mean, at this point in time, he's really got a good read on this. Now, here comes the attack. Notice he's even keeping the other zealot on the outside. You just want damage to be dealt out here. The probes are going to have to be pulled. There's no real weak zealot here that is going to pop and allow this to spill in. He's got to be careful about the top, though. That one zealot does go down. It's going to be all about having the right control. That's it. GG.
Cases.
Probably not our most exciting game of the season, but definitely one for the people that are learning, how to...
Dude,
that's an all-in. Anybody can do it any rank. It does happen in pro tournaments like this one, and you can see that the opportunities to win vanish extremely quickly if they are just able to hold off the entrance. They've been making probes the whole time. You haven't been making drones. They have the tech to Corsairs as well as other stuff. Zerg doesn't have anything. GG, easy win for Best.
Yeah. Remember last season we had a lot of all-ins early on in the tournament that just killed people instantly. Maybe we're going to see a lot of all-ins fall flat on their face this season, Taste.
Yeah, you might be right. I think Best, when we saw the second and the third cannon, he's like, no, you know what? I know how this works.
Yeah.
He's been on enough televised matches. He wins that easily, and he just has to win one more game now to move on to the next phase of ASL. Nicely done. Coming up next, we've got Shuttle versus Barracks. We'll be right back.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue on here with Group A for the ASL, and I would say that our least exciting game is behind us.
I certainly hope you're right about that, Tasteless, or it's not going to be a very good start to Season 13.
Yeah, before we go into the next game, we want to thank you guys again for the support on Patreon. We also have the Tastosis secret podcast you guys can enjoy on there as well, but if you enjoyed the last year of games and maybe you meant to get around to getting on Patreon and supporting us there, you have another year to try and do that again. Thank you, everybody who's been so great.
Yeah. And sorry that this first episode is just a little tad bit late. It's because I was traveling, so it's on me. Sorry about that, but we are going to get these out very quickly, as quickly as possible after the broadcast date from here on forward.
That's right. The truth is, Tastosis wasn't doing anything. I actually was begging him to just start, and he said, no. He said, make them wait.
That's right. I was getting
truth.
My anger out on all of it.
You choose who to believe here, but I am the one who's telling the truth. Let me just leave it at that.
Yeah, you got me, too.
So we've got Shuttle versus Barracks up next here. I do enjoy watching very high-level PvTs on this map. It does seem like, first of all, on one-on-one maps, there are more strategies that Protoss can open with against Terran. Terran could, in theory, go like proxy racks, and the Protoss goes Nexus first, and maybe you've got a cool cheese there, but pretty much the Terran is the defender in many, many different ways. On a map like this, but even if it goes to a pretty normal game, we really want to watch and see, can the Terran get up to a third base safely? There are some issues that do come if Terran gets the fourth base, the most common fourth base. There's not a lot of real locations to attack into for the Protoss, so that does cause some problems.
Yeah. I would say that the way to really describe this map is it has to do with what type of advantage Protoss has as Terran gets the third up. Because the early game is just, like you mentioned, there's a lot of things Protoss can do, and they can really dictate that flow of the game. But, once Terran gets...
They might not do anything at all, too. That's the other scary thing. They might just play completely normal.
Yeah, that's actually the cheesiest thing they can do, because you're scouting everything. You're playing so safe as Terran, because there's so many bad things that can happen to you on the map, and then they're just playing a normal game, and you're like, what? Oh, yeah, you can do that here, too? But no, the map is a little bit small. Overall, right? It can be cut a little bit in half. So if Terran can get into a decent position in the late mid-game, that can start to do pretty well for them, right? You can start denying expansions and stuff. But it's really all about the early game and what opener Protoss chooses to go with and how Terran tries to counter that.
Yeah, this should be certainly longer than the last game, but occasionally we do just see... Terrans die outright here on this map. But, looking at the way that Shuttle has played in the past, he's usually pretty on top of his game in general. Barracks, again, not somebody you want to count out. I would say for PvT meta overall, we did see a lot of exciting stuff from Mini in the last season that really gave a big nod to the whole race for carriers, maybe over arbiters, which is a pendulum that occasionally we see swing as far as late-game tech favoritism. That's maybe what I'm most interested in seeing when we go into this game now.
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right. It looks like we are ready to start now. Shuttle against Barracks on Eclipse.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
What do you think, Tasteless? Who takes this one?
Oh, I think probably Shuttle, but I mean,
Okay.
Barracks is very good.
Yeah.
You know, we got to point out we've had a lot of time to get to know this map. So I'm very interested in seeing what builds both sides choose to open up with on a map we understand so much better now.
Yeah.
And also when you know, the format of this tournament, look, I'll be frank, it's very unforgiving. So you're really only going to do what you think is going to work.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Shuttle chooses to do that, right? Like, what does he fall back on best of one against one of the fastest rising Terran stars out there? Because, you know, there's actually so many legitimate openers here. There's like 3 different types of gas steals. There's offensive pylon plays, straight up Nexus First, straight up regular openers, proxy gate, you know, 2-gate range follow-ups. There's just so much at Protoss's disposal. So it's actually in a lot of ways like a difficult map to practice as Terran, because Protoss really does get to dictate how the game is going to go in the beginning.
It is a bit odd to see a scout on 9, a scout after Pylon. I think he probably will go for a gas steal, but I think if the numbers go right, I think the Terran can barely get a gas up. No, I guess not. Okay.
Yeah,
this has to be a gas steal.
The thing is about, like, getting the gas there, and some players will take it. Like, for instance, Sharp oftentimes will cancel an SCV there and just take his own gas. But if they have a proxy gate and you're doing that, then it just gets harder and harder to pull that off. So I think most high-level Terrans just let the gas steal occur at this point.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was actually going to pick your brain on that. I'm glad you just answered my question before I even asked it. I mean, it is a funny thing because, yeah, some Terrans let it happen, and then others will panic and then try to do it. When I do a proxy, I do find I win more if they've actually freaked out and taken the gas because they just don't have anywhere near as many resources. Now, you know, if you do the gas steal and you haven't proxied anything, in Korea especially, it seems like the play is to go for a Nexus after the Zealot. But, you know, the issue is that a lot of Terrans will try to set up an eBay to block that.
Yeah, here we don't see the eBay, but he is trying to block it a little bit. He's getting good scouting intel as well, honestly. Looks like the SCV is going to end up falling, so that's the end of that scouting for now, unfortunately. But he's going to have enough Marines to block the Zealot as it comes down. He'll have about 4 Marines as the Zealot gets there, which can easily kill that off. So, you know, it's so far the openers are pretty fine on both sides. Pretty close to even.
Well, you know, he's got the Zealot and the Probe here. A Zealot and a Probe can easily beat 3 Marines.
Yeah. Oh, but he's got an SCV to go with those 3 Marines, Tastosis. It's funny because these are the actual, you're seeing the exact numbers.
We're not even actually
micro.
trying to be funny with that. Like, the SCV is what makes you then have to back off with the Zealot and the Probe, but...
And that's that's only with really good micro. Lower level players, you won't be able to do that. But at this level, you don't want to dive in because if he just shuts it down, you're going to be really hurt.
Okay, now he's got a very good engage here. He does kill off 1 Marine, and there's going to be an opening. Oh, very good mind move there to trip up the Zealot. The 2 Zealots are going to get in here. This is actually generally how the game is supposed to go for the Protoss.
He should steal that gas again. Oh, my God.
Dude, I didn't even think of that. There's a probe there. Good point.
Yeah, no, that was really, really good because you can't even bring the other Marines in because if another Zealot comes, you have nothing. Oh, my God. See this? This is becoming such a pain right now. Wow. I'm feeling for Barracks.
That did not even occur to me. Yeah, well, this is really a great position right now for Shuttle. Keep in mind that Shuttle is getting another base. And, you know, he's got his gas mining. You can see Shuttle's going to try to kill some of these workers here.
So Shuttle right now, Tasteless, I want to say, is so far ahead. Like, we don't even have the gas killed off. He's not mining with a ton of these SCVs. He's making tons of Marines to deal with this as well. I mean, this is such an issue right now for Barracks. This is like a terrible, terrible situation. With range already on the way, he is... Okay, yeah, notice how he's adding a second Barracks. He's going to probably go all in here. Like, he's looking at this and saying, God, very likely there could be like a 3rd base coming, something like that. And obviously Dragoons are going to come quickly here and just pound on that bunker.
Yeah. Now, I don't see a Robo yet. I don't see DT tacking here. I don't really see anything that necessarily stops Marines, even though DTs don't always stop Marines. It's better than just having Dragoons, right? So this scout that comes in, it's a pretty big deal because he's going to look through here and say, okay, just ranged Dragoons. When Stim finishes and he moves out, this could be hard for Shuttle to deal with. Some Protosses, especially if they play a little bit too middle of the road, which it looks like Shuttle may end up doing, he could fall trapped to this, even though I think this is something that Protoss should be thinking about. Is he going to go bio here?
Yeah, it's not super common at high levels to go bio here because there are problems, right? Like if it's non-stop Dragoon rally to the front of the wall, it's hard to make your way across the map with the Stim Marines, you know? As soon as you have 4 Dragoons, you're one-shotting Marines, so it's like you have to have a lot to push through that. And if he were to go for something like range first, to just push the Dragoons back more efficiently with the bunker, because that's the same range as a ranged Dragoon, that would give Shuttle enough time to respond, so that would be an issue as well. But look at this. He's actually moving out with the bio before the Dragoons get there. I think they will see just the tail end of it, though. Okay, he should have seen that.
He sees the Marine, or he should. I don't know if he realizes it's many Marines, though. It looks like it could have just
Dude,
been a
I think he
blip on
didn't
the
see
map.
it straight up.
Seems like it, right?
Yeah, and this walking around, I think Barracks is about to get a free win. You know, like
I think you're right. If he gets in there and kills the probes in the Nat and then goes into the main, and I don't think there's Reaver tech here. Yeah, it's not like there's a Reaver that can pop out.
Dude, this is one of the luckiest things I've ever seen. He was like a half second off of Shuttle definitely seeing that. This is a win.
Here we go.
This is a win.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a fatal blow, I think. Now, he doesn't go for the natural right away. Instead, he wants to come up here into the main, maybe unpower the pylon if he can. Now, gosh, I think he should have killed the probes of the natural first, to be honest with you. The Shuttle's now out.
Yeah, I'm fine with him killing anything as long as he kills things and stops changing targets. Look, I mean...
Yeah, I agree. Oh, man, one thing is probes might be good against Marines, but Stim Marines with medics, that's a different story.
Honestly, I don't think Barracks did well enough with this. I think
you're right.
He changed when he was attacking so many times. He's like in the Nat, and then he goes up the ramp, then he thinks about the pylon, then he thinks about the shuttle, and then he thinks about the probes. Okay, so that's like he could honestly he could not have gotten more lucky getting that bio out of there without anything seeing it. And then he doesn't do enough damage with it, and now there's going to be Reavers. And, like, Reavers are the actual counter to bio.
Yeah, Reavers are why... I mean, there's a couple other reasons, too, but Reavers are the main reason why bio just isn't really a thing here. You know, Protoss don't always go Reavers, but if they see bio, they just make Reavers, and they're okay. I would imagine that the Marine range is finished here, so the Dragoons can't just pick on the bunker from afar, but... I just don't see now how Barracks is going to be able to get a leg up here in 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
the issue, is you don't have the tech that gives you the avenues to be in a position in this game where you have any business being there.
Yeah.
And so, really, what we saw there was the Terran trying to surprise the Protoss.
He was, and he surprised him as hard as you ever could, and it still didn't end up working out. And, like, at this point... I mean, down is going to go the bunker. Siege mode is not ready. Even if it is, you're still in trouble here.
Got to be careful with that shuttle. It should be pretty low. Again, you want to be pretty cautious when you're up against, you know, Stim Marines. But, you know, I think that with the Dragoons here, will this be GG, I wonder?
Yeah. I mean, he's coming back into the flank. Like, maybe you technically clear these units. But like you said, as the game goes on, how do you do anything with what Barracks has going on here?
Yeah, I mean, you just have the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this does... If this was a Zerg, then yeah, I mean, these are units that build into the later game, but the Protoss is going to... Now, notice that he's not taking a third base just yet. That's coming very soon here, but you basically treat this situation as the Protoss like it's a PvP until they have siege mode. You see the siege mode's out now, but you pretty much just try to push them like it's a PvP and they have less stuff. Now, I don't I think he's making more factories. It should be a bunch more. He didn't commit to the more barracks, right?
No, he's making factories now. The Vio just is not going to do very much. Look at this. Once again, diving in. I'm not sure he even needs to do this, honestly. But
yeah, I think
that
this might be a bit excessive. But
I think he can do pretty much anything here. Like, look at that.
No,
Picks off that siege tank. And, yeah, dropping on top of the tank now as well. Just so much damage coming out.
Scarab looks like it's... Oh, no, almost gets up there. Yeah, this game's pretty much done.
Yeah, the Reaver being dropped once again. Some good Reaver micro actually coming out of Shuttle here.
Sure.
And the SCV's drill, like, again, he'll probably technically live here, but he's gaining no ground. He's actually losing ground this entire time. He has added more factories, but this is just as bad as it can be for Terran.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal. I mean, we do have factories out, so the right tech is here, which means he's at least started that journey with units that are going to have value later on. The problem is that so many workers have been killed, and we don't see it on screen, but on the minimap, there's already a clump of what looks like 6 or 7 Dragoons already waiting just outside the natural as well. His own natural, I should say.
Yeah, and look at this, like 2 Dragoons just picking off some additional SCVs. He sees the Vultures pouring out, defensive cannons going up, 3 bases here for Shuttle, who's already up over 30 supply. It's, yeah, I mean, if you do a bio-opener, you just kind of have to end it early on. The longer the game goes, the longer you're giving Protoss to just completely smash you.
And the Templar Archives is here as well. Now with the first couple tanks finally being able to stabilize the game, we are not far from having maybe storm drops. I don't think I saw a Stargate anywhere. I could be wrong. But,
yeah.
Again, this is like a 9-to-1 matchup based off the circumstances that have happened here, where like it's so hard for Terran to win. I'm not saying that the Terran will never, ever win in a match like this, but it's just you're so behind.
Yeah, the amount of things that would have to go wrong for Protoss at this point, like, honestly, he'd have to, like, donate his army, like, 6 times in a row. Because we don't have production, we don't have economy, we don't have, like, anything going on for Terran at this point. And, you know, it's just, he's so slowed down. Look at the amount of gateways going up. And the thing is, Shuttle has, like, already has a speed shuttle upgrade. Like you mentioned, Templar Archives is done, so we'll probably see storm drops now, which means his economy is going to take even more of a beating. He can't afford enough turrets to stop that.
Right, and Psystorm is a really straightforward way to kind of deal with this really advantageous position. It's not, you're not kind of leaning into any tech at all here that's really complicated. You just get the storm upgrade. You have a shuttle, speed shuttles from earlier, and because the third base, if you get behind his Terran, the third base for the Terran is very hard to get possession of. You pretty much just run out and storm the army with the shuttle as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is, we're not even going to have a time where Barracks is going to feel like he can attack. The best he can do right now is what we see him doing, which is running Vultures around, trying to be annoying, trying to slow down Shuttle's growth. Because his army isn't big enough for a full attack. Now, look, all right, he picks off the probe here that's trying to take a 4th base. That's really nice, lays some mines. But you see Shuttle's like, okay, I just expanded the other direction, then that's fine.
Yeah, we still have, 3 factories total? I mean, the supply difference is insane here. It's about 146 to 82.
Yeah.
Which is just wild to me. So, I mean, this might be, the quiet half of the game from here on out. Like, Terran ultimately, I think, has to do this almost one step at a time.
Yeah.
Where they try to just get in and get that third base up and be safe. He did snipe some Templars. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. The thing is with Terran here, because this map has a very wide open area where you're leaving your natural and trying to get up to your third base. So you already need a lot of supply to hold that. But he can't even try to take a third until he has like 150 supply. He can't even
just
try
has to sit there and turtle, basically.
Yeah, he has to just sit here. Look, he's adding a ton of factories. This is very much the right thing to do. But even when he tries to come out, here's the big problem here is even if he has enough supply, he has to come out of his choke. And there's going to be size storms everywhere. He's going to be too clumped. So it's actually impossible for him to even get out of his choke at this point. I mean, if you have the 150 supply and you're elsewhere, maybe. But look, Shuttle is not even going to wait. He's just going to try to end this now.
Yeah, he's going to just see if he can't run this over. He's got to be careful. You can end up losing these Reavers, and it looks like he will, but there might be enough Zealots here, especially... Oh my god, there's just so much.
There is a lot.
Yeah, he basically just comes in here and kills him.
And, yeah, GG is called.
GG.
That was a little bit brutal, okay? Like, the Zealots walking by just got him so far ahead. And honestly, like, watching Barracks lose like that, it is a little bit cathartic. I think he should have practiced more with B rank and A rank Protoss players because that is an everyday 10-time occurrence at that level. But unfortunately, unable to block those Zealots, trying an all-in type move and not making it work either. Shuttle easily goes through to the winner's match.
So now we've got a PvP here for the winners. It's going to be Best versus Shuttle. This is a match we've seen before. These guys are both excellent at the matchup. Barracks, of course, is not eliminated. He'll be going into the loser's match and facing off against Beast.
Yeah, that should be actually a really fun one because both those guys are very cutting edge in that matchup. So that's going to be cool. But up next, that PvP, as you mentioned, Shuttle versus Best. Two of our best Protosses going to be going at it.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue ASL Group A onward. Time to get one of these two players on to the next phase. It's going to be Shuttle versus Best. Now, these guys have been in the ASL for, the last couple years. We usually don't have tournaments where they're not both in. Who's on top? Who's better right now? That's a much more difficult question to answer. We're all very familiar with Shuttle and Best.
Mm-hmm. And
do
Shuttle,
you have a favorite here?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, Best, I normally think is the best Protoss, even though he does not deliver. And Shuttle has an ASL championship, even though it was Season 1 where people weren't exactly in the best shape yet, as ASL was coming back.
Right.
But look, I think Best is better. But you brought up that match against Mini, and I know that Best can fall apart in these matches sometimes. So I'm not holding my breath for him to beat Shuttle here.
Yeah, let's see what he's got. Shuttle, it's weird. We were talking about this in between the games, but it feels like whenever he's playing, there's a chance that a DT is made on one side or the other, and detection is not made on the other side or the other. Mm-hmm. And we just talk until the DT gets there and the other player knows he's lost. I hope that's not the case in this game. By the way, Tastosis, we're going to go to Butter.
All right.
Can you believe it's real Butter?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
버터에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, so we got Shuttle in the top right, and then that's going to put Best in the bottom right. But Tastosis, I got a story for you.
Yes.
This is. I'm going to show you what a weirdo I am right now, since it's just you and me here. And
I
That's
had
it.
no idea you were a weirdo. Please tell me.
Okay, so you just said, like, you made a joke about, like, I can't believe it's not butter, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were kids, the commercial where they're like, I can't believe it's not butter, and like they swivel the knife on top of the like untouched butter?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Right, and like that
Fabio
knife,
do it or something?
that thing
Yeah.
they do with the knife, where they make like a heart almost. Like they just kind of
Yeah.
like, and it looks so rich, and you're like, damn, that's like wow, the untouched like bottle of butter or whatever. Tasteless, my entire life, to this day, every time I open a new jar of peanut butter, I say in my head while I do the first scoop, I can't believe it's not butter. I swear to God, every single time. And there has been more peanut butter jars in my life than I care to admit.
That's a funny, weird thing. I actually kind of understand this, though. Like, I have this, my first few months in Korea, I briefly was in a Korean language class.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, in the building, they had this button for the elevator, and I found out, like, the elevator was like on B1 or floor 1, but it wasn't actually on. You had to go up to go to floor 1 and go down to go to B1. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The elevator was like in between the floors for the sake of the staircase.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I would walk downstairs and take the elevator to my class on the way in there, and then on the way out I'd go to floor 1 and walk down. And ever since I've done that, I always say I walk downstairs all day, every day in my head. And I know this isn't but now anytime I'm in Korea and I come out of an elevator, I do this. If I can go downstairs and avoid doing it.
Yeah.
My story's not as good as yours, but I understand the weird programming in your brain.
Yeah,
when you do
yeah.
Tastosis. That's what I'm trying to say.
We're all broken, fleshy robots. That's basically all there is to it. We have very faulty coding, Tasteless. I'm glad there's new generations that are going to take over for us eventually.
I'm glad we're going to be erased sometime down the road.
Yeah, thank God for that. That we're not forever Tasteless. That would be the saddest thing, truly.
That's so funny. Dude, I got to say, man, I kind of welcome, in all seriousness, this map and PvP especially, to kind of see what these more flatter maps allow us to have game-wise. PvP changes a whole lot if your entrance is a more accessible one.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And, you know, I do enjoy having two-player maps in because it does make very different-looking games. Like, I mean, we just saw one, right?
Right.
Just the fact that you know where your opponent is, it can make a lot of proxy play and stuff like that available. But, of course, you can scout your opponent pretty quickly as well. Now, here for PvP, you know, one thing I appreciate about this also is that they're both on the right side. We don't have many maps that are laid out like this because if you look at the way that the map will probably play, it'll probably play on the right side for the first, like, half of the game, and then late game it will probably swing to the left side, which is, like, whenever you get maps that do weird things like that, it can become really interesting because you get like certain portions of the map played on at different times of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the layout does allow for some really interesting stuff that could happen here. By the way, we had 2 gate there for Shuttle. Now, Best is kind of stuck on 1 gate and got a robo a little bit later here. This is a map where you could plow into your opponent with a 3-gate all-in. We should point that out. Yes, there is an egg near the entrance. That's not necessarily going to save you from Dragoons just barreling at you. But it is kind of a bold move here for Best to just 1 gate and then a pretty delayed robo. And I think he's actually thrown down a 2nd gate. And the way that Best is approaching this right now, and I think actually Shuttle's going to go in this direction too, if we see a robo made here, this is probably the safest way to play blind. You keep making probes the whole time. You have Dragoons coming. You basically measure out how far it was from when your probe was killed and what you saw, and then time the robo out to be safe from anything else.
Ah, yeah. No, that makes sense. They both do have those kind of forward robos so that they can very quickly rally out Reavers to help defend expansions.
Right, yeah.
Shuttle coming down right now. He does have more Dragoons, 4 Dragoons and a Zealot coming. That is a little bit scary.
So, this is why I was surprised, actually, that the robo came out so early and the gate was so late, just because there's a chance, especially with the Zealot here, that I think Best could just basically run in and start to snipe Dragoons and maybe even snowball the game.
Well, Best microing back right now. He's going to have more Dragoons pop out. So he's actually got 5 against 4, but there is a Zealot in here. So a lot of that does come down to the micro, but it looks like the 5 Dragoons do end up holding. He loses 1, kills 1, and the Zealot. So, you know, a good hold, and he does have that quicker robo, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that was a very patient play there from Best, realizing, okay, he's going to have exactly 5 Dragoons come out. Keep in mind, 5 Dragoons can 2-shot an enemy Dragoon. So, you know, it's when the numbers become extremely powerful for the person that has that number advantage. And he's still continuing to pop out 2 Dragoons at a time. Now, if Shuttle doesn't expand pretty soon here, Shuttle has to end the game or lose trying.
Well, he's going for that Reaver tech right now. Just Observer for Best. And, okay, he is going for Reaver also.
Moments like this, you've got to be very careful because that hull damage, I can't emphasize how truly permanent that is and how much that can change the landscape of a fight later on. You know, a Dragoon that's low on HP could just pop to a Reaver shot. It could be immediately killed off by a few stray Dragoon shots. So, it does seem like basically Best is going to lean back and just try to barely hang on to his expansion while Shuttle is going to give his very best to try to just close this game out and end it. He's not teched into any observers that I've seen here. I don't think... Does Shuttle even have an observatory? I don't think he does, right?
No, I don't think he does. And you can see actually the observers are watching everything so closely. Look at the placement of these Dragoons of Best. If he catches this Shuttle, like, I mean, that's close to game, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, if the Shuttle and Dragoons get in there, oh my god, that's crazy.
But now he's trapped, is he not?
Well, he can try to flank from behind. I'm worried that Shuttle might just be able to kill him here.
Yeah.
If you get a few good Dragoon shots and you can kind of keep the Shuttle somewhere safe, you're going to be okay. Now, Best has really stayed out of the vision here, which is pretty nice. This battery is also in an excellent position.
Oh, that heal there. He does get 3 Scarabs off. Starting to drop his own Dragoon, but there is this gigantic flank that you were talking about. Best coming in from both sides. And, I mean, it looks like it's just straight up a hold for him while keeping the Nexus alive.
That was so good by Best. He even knew when to just have the Reaver stop attacking because it's so low and just keep recharging on the battery. And it was like ultimate patience there. You know, just having a few Dragoons in the back. That next Reaver came out here and he cleared that out. And now Best is in an extremely winning position.
That was really impressive as a non-Protoss player here. Just the way that he kind of had less of everything and just utilized his informational advantage with the observers and moved his army around in intelligent ways and just utilized those units to bust what Shuttle had. And, like, that is why, you know, like you mentioned, it's not just Protoss players that love Best. Everybody is a big fan of this guy.
Yeah, he really handled that like just extremely well, and especially when you consider that could have just lost the game had the fight not gone as well as it did.
I think really Shuttle kills most people in the world with these build order openers, right?
For sure, yeah.
It's just amazingly done by Best.
It can be confusing sometimes because you'll see, you know, maybe in your own ladder games, you'll have games where, like, you die to a Reaver push and be like, oh, did I do something wrong? And it's like, well, no, I mean, this is a way to play where you just keep trying to take a fight. But now it's going to be Best at the advantage. He's got 4 gateways up. I'm sure he's going to have a 5th and maybe even a 6th soon. And what he wants to do is start to try to pick a fight out here. And he's going to have more Reavers, 2 in this Shuttle, more Dragoons. And I think he wants to basically slap down this base and move on to the next phase of ASL if he can do it right.
Yeah. Well, he's up like 25 supplies, so I think it's definitely doable for him. Dropping these Reavers out. There is that pile in there that can slow everything down. Nice Scarab shot to open this with, but Shuttle does get back with the Reaver. Drops behind the Nexus here. He has so few units, though. Look at that big shot going down. Another one hitting so many Dragoons. But is this going to be a hold?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it looks like as long as the Shuttle doesn't die, we should point out. Yeah, that's going to be it. Shuttle does lose the game. Best moves on. You know, very straightforward PvP. not all PvPs are so punchy and so pivotal at the early part, but when the way they handled that, it became a pretty cool duel. Best came out on top, very patient with handling that push, and from there, Shuttle's behind. Shuttle never had enough to try to win that next fight.
Dude, and almost record time to get out of a group in first place right there.
Oh, I know,
He
right?
holds a Ling all-in, and then he holds a Goon Reaver all-in. That's it. He just held a couple all-ins, and it's like Shuttle made him come kill him at least, which Beast didn't. But that was really fast from Best. He just kind of holds the line and advances to the next round.
So Best is our first survivor. This is certainly something I'm not surprised by. I doubt you at home are that shocked by seeing Best move on. I think he's going to be a welcome addition into the next phase of ASL as we get to thin out the lines here and get rid of some of the weaker players. Shuttle is going to be in that survivor match at the very end. But up next, we got to see who's going to take it with Beast and Barracks. We are going to go to the interview. Here it is now.
네, 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 13 24강 A조 경기 함께하고 계십니다. 이번 시즌 가장 먼저 16강에 오른 도재욱 선수와 함께하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
두 시즌 만에 16강에 다시 올라선 도재욱 선수입니다. 오늘 경기 전반적으로 여유가 느껴졌다라는 느낌을 받았습니다.
네네.
여유롭게 경기를 끝마치신 것 같은데요. 기분은 어떠신가요?
일단은 솔직히 저희 조가 이제 제가 올라갈 확률이 높다고 다들 말씀하셨지만 제가 뭐 저도 크게 막 제가 1등 확정이다 이런 느낌은 없었어요. 근데 경기를 하다 보니까 뭔가 잘 풀려서 1등 진출한 것 같고 이제 뭐 여기서 만족하지 않고 더 열심히 해보겠습니다.
오늘 유진호 선수와의 경기, 김윤중 선수와의 경기 아무래도 도재욱 선수가 중후반에 굉장히 강력한 것을 알고 있다는 듯이 좀 의식적으로 초반 공격을 굉장히 좀 매섭게 갔는데
네.
그때마다 굉장히 그냥 받아치기 쳐주겠다라는 느낌으로 경기를 하신 것 같아요.
네네. 일단은 두 선수가 했던 전략 다 제가 약간 염두를 많이 해뒀었어요. 그래서 약간 대응이 좀 부드럽게 나왔던 것 같고 초반 제가 컨트롤 좀 약했었는데 요즘 좀 많이 는 것 같아서 내일 때도 초반 전략 좀 잘 나가보시도록 해야 될 것 같아요.
유진우 선수의 거의 올인성 저글링 한 부대도 굉장히 빠른 반응 속도로 완벽하게 좀 차단을 하셨어요.
네네.
그리고 두 기로.
네.
예상을 했기 때문에 이런 좀 속도가 나왔을까요?
네, 예상을 했었고 그 저글링이 바로 안 달리길래 뭔가 이상하다고 느꼈었어요. 그래서 약간 좀 의식을 많이 했던 게 좀 반응 속도 빨랐던 게 될 것 같아요.
이제 부담이 아닌 차분함과 여유로 이번 시즌을 풀어나가겠다는 각오를 오늘 개막전 경기에서 도재욱 선수가 좀 밝혀주신 게 아닌가 싶습니다. 앞으로 어떤 위기가 있어도 오늘처럼만 한다면 더 높은 곳에 가실 수 있지 않을까 싶은데요. 각오 어떠신가요?
일단은 제가 항상 팬분들이 뭐 이제 이번에 다르냐 뭐 이제 기대하겠다 했는데 기대는 하지 마세요. 하지 마시고 제가 잘하게 된다면 그때 칭찬해 주세요. 네.
알겠습니다. 아마 팬들은 칭찬할 준비를 하고 도재욱 선수의 경기를 지켜보시지 않을까 싶습니다. 16강에서도 멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다.
네,
오늘 경기
감사합니다.
고생 많으셨습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 가장 먼저 16강에 오른 도재욱 선수와 함께했고요. 저는 잠시 후에 오늘의 두 번째 진출자와 돌아오겠습니다.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to do butter one more time and see if we can get a game that doesn't pretty much end in 5 minutes.
I know.
I mean,
these games
And
tonight,
don't co-
tasteless. This is not the greatest Like,
Yeah, I know,
the season
right?
itself is so awesome, but like you look at the games that we have on the opening night, it's not so good.
Yes, but how was the sausage made, Artosis? Like,
Yeah.
I can't. That's the scary part. And by the way, before you come at me with, wasn't that PVT pretty long? It pretty much ended when the gas was stolen a second time. That's
Yeah.
pretty much a fatal occurrence in the game.
Yeah, it actually is. If that ever happens to you as a Terran, you do find out that is a fatal occurrence.
So we're going to have a TVZ now on this map, and I really don't know what to expect. It does seem like third bases are not as holdable as like your Eclipse, as the Zerg, I should say. I don't know. Even though there are some narrow ramps and some bottlenecked areas here, it does seem like maybe the Zerg is going to have to work a little bit harder to defend. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But I think that the type of style that Beast is very likely to use, like a very aggressive two-hatchery Mutalisk play, should allow him to get a third base up, right? Because you can kind of just take a third while doing that and hold Terran back until you have lurkers. So I'd imagine he's going to kind of stay to the way that he plays, which is that more aggressive, more Mutalisk-oriented type of play, and we'll see if Barracks can kind of hold that off and get it into a bigger game.
It's going to be fun to see what they try to do here. Beast, I feel like we really have seen the least of his potential, especially today, but I think even in the past, he's really tried to do these gotcha builds. And, he is one of our newer players. He is younger, but you want to be careful how many times you try to play like that. If you don't have a wide variation of play styles, everybody just plays conservatively and stops you.
That's very, very, very true.
He's still making his name out here in competitive StarCraft and ASL as well. But I mean, if he does something where he tries to do a gotcha build and it backfires again, I'm worried about his potential in other seasons to come.
I definitely do agree with you there. I hope to see some more solid play out of him as we go up here against Barracks. Let's do it, Tasteless. This is the loser match.
Let's do it! I'm going in! Get the VR goggles!
I can't believe it's not butter!
I can't believe it's not butter! I'm waving the wands around pretending it's sticks of butter! Okay, so Zerg's going to be in the top right, Terran in the bottom right. On a map, I think we're all going to be learning together for each of the map. Dude, he's four-pooling.
He's literally four-pooling.
All right, guys, never mind with the map.
We're canceling ASL Season 13.
Yes.
This is how these jokers want to play. Dude, if you send me these replays...
Patreon supporters, you're all getting your money back. We're so sorry about this season.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, if you send me the replays for today, Tasteless, and you're just like, look at these replays, if I didn't see the names or the APM, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, there's C rank or B rank. Like, that's what the games are. I'm like, dude, yeah, no, these guys
are
suck.
Brutal. I mean, this could still be exciting to see exactly how this, goes down.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be pretty dangerous for Terran, but like, you could have just not had us cast these games and had us read, a hot take by us reacting on a note card as to what we read happen.
Yeah. So true. Now, okay, so four-pool, this is actually on maps where you do fast wall-ins. This can be a good counter to them. If you bring out your second SCV and get the second depot started at 12 supply, and that is a quick Barracks, by the way. It's like slightly quicker than, it's not the quickest you can get it, but it's pretty good. But yeah, if you bring out the second SCV and start that depot, and you keep building the depot, then it becomes more holdable.
Yeah, it's important that this is a 4-pool and not a 5 or a 6 or a 7. It is actually set up to get here so fast that you basically kill the Terran within a matter of seconds. And the game just goes kaput from there. And we don't see a second SCV over here, so I think that...
Dude, yeah, the Lings ran around the SCV. He's actually... I think Beast is just going to kill him here. Because he doesn't have any intel that it's coming. And, okay, he sees a couple Lings now. He has to pull almost every SCV right now. if he wants to have any chance here.
All right, the SCVs are coming. Okay, he's going to kill that SCV that's there, and now the Lings get through.
Yeah.
And they immediately get a surround on the first Marine. And so, if you control well, Lings are much more microable than SCVs are. So this is basically GG here.
Yeah, that's game.
He will wait for the Marine to pop out, and you can see he's got the surface area to punish. And he can moving shot and kill that last Marine. And there's probably 5 SCVs total in this game? Yeah, 6 in the... 6th one about to come out here, but this is GG.
Hell.
And I got to say, Beast, well done.
Well done, Beast.
This is...
dude, this was Barracks' day today, was basically one of my ladder sessions. Zealots walked by his bunker, and then he got 4-pooled, and that's literally it, and he has to go home, and he's been practicing all year for this tournament.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, indeed.
No. We're not going to have... Well, there's one more game, all right? But something... Tastosis...
he probably... Barracks came into today, and he had these great ideas for TVP games and builds that he was going to use. And now he's going to watch Shuttle make 5 cannons against a Hydra bust in advance, and he's going to be like, oh, man, this wasn't any good.
Oh, my God. I can't believe he did the 4-pool of all the builds. Well, I'll tell you what, man, it worked.
It worked.
And you could see he feels the eyes of the world on him right now. Like, that's right.
Are you kidding me, Tastosis? He doesn't feel anything. This man is a psychopath. He did a Ling all-in and then a 4-pool. Okay? He made it into ASL. This is the guy, by the way, that eliminated the wonderful scan from ASL in the finals of the qualifier. And this is, oh, man, pure cheese.
All right, guys, short break. We'll be right back with the final match of Shuttle versus Beast.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
ASL 시즌 13 Unlimited.
Welcome back, everybody. Will we have a game that resembles something normal? Would we even have the possibility of our Zerg player making a Defiler?
No.
Well, probably not.
And oh my God, Hive. The
A
Queen's
hive.
Nest. He doesn't even know what that building is. But honestly, Tasteless, these games have looked more normal than anything I've ever seen in ASL. This is the true experience of Brood War. Our next map going to be Vermeer, another one of our new ones. This is a 4-player map. It's got some really interesting terrain features in the center, as you can see.
It does. It's a very. It's. I've got a lot of questions about how exactly this map is going to be played, how easy or hard it's going to be, especially in a late game matchup. At PvZ like this one, it does seem like there's a lot of turtleable bases for both sides, but sometimes it's very much kind of like the last game. Sometimes it's much more about what the openings are from each side here.
Yeah, and I think right now, Shuttle, he is going to be on full alert for Cheese coming at him. You know, I think he's going to do his safest build. I'm not sure what the plan is here as Beast, because you've kind of shown what you're doing today. He did just a massive Ling all in, then a 4-pool. It's like, oh, okay, you're cheesing as hard, literally as hard as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's very true. I mean, I feel like, Shuttle just is going to play super conservative, right? I mean, there's not going to be any risks at all here in this opening, right?
Yes. Yes, 100%. It's going to be like, make sure, I think it'll be like you think a gateway opener, Tastosis, so you can get a little bit more intel, or do you think it's Forge Expand for that?
I mean,
added
one of the
speed?
two. I think there's no reason for one base play anything weird. I think the answer's cannons, man, right?
Cannons.
He's going to get cannons. And more than the normal amount, I think. Guys, Beast versus Shuttle up next. The winner is the second survivor in Group A of Season 13 of the ASL. On Vermeer.
What's the name of the map?
Vermeer. Vermeer.
It's the only map that you can say while you have Lockjaw. So we have Beast in the top right. We have Shuttle in the bottom right.
Mm-hmm. We have yet to have a Hydraless Den even made here by our Zerg player Beast.
Yeah. But don't forget, he did mine 104 gas so far.
Yeah. But in Game 2 with him, he didn't even get a gas at all. So the question is, how Stone Age will his builds be?
And you know what? So far, he has made, I want to say 6 drones between 2 games.
Oh God, yeah.
It might be 7 though. I didn't keep official track. I kind of want him to win here so we can just count how many drones he makes total throughout the whole tournament. But it just kind of goes to show exactly how aggressive he's been now. Shuttle is scouting up into Beast's base first. It does look like it's a 9 pool, so...
Yeah, probably 9 pool speed, but let's see. There are a lot of just 9 pool non-speed that have been happening here, but this one is going to be an extractor. Into cancel. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it comes right up and gets that scout off perfectly, so it knows exactly what's going on. Down comes a second probe to throw down the Forge. And Shuttle, yeah, he's going to play this very safely.
So this build that Zerg's doing, which is a non-speed 9-pull opening, the Zerg can get a hatch up and basically have enough lings out to really create a threat for gateway opening builds. If you do a Forge opening, you're pretty much fine against this. And it is interesting to see, once again, Forge play kind of making more appearances here, as gateway play has been kind of the de facto strongest style of play. And, I will tell you, I wouldn't consider myself that good, but in my own ladder experience, people have become much more aggressive and abusive to the gateway play openings. So it seems like there's kind of been a big paradigm shift into aggression. To try to punish the Protoss. So this sort of makes sense, right? And I mean, we'll see with more PVZs that come, but this has been a bit of a transition I think we've seen on a lot of different levels.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you mention that, really, because I've seen exactly what you've talked about. Mini made some of these gateway openers so popular that we're seeing such like a backlash from the Zerg players. It actually reminds me a lot of like the TVP meta, where there's like Terran's got like a little bit too greedy, so Protosses make a lot of units early game once again, and it's so interesting to see that kind of shift around. And by the way, that is a very quick layer.
Yeah, it's an extremely fast layer, and we should point out 2 cannons here as well. If you see 6 lings or more, then you just have to get 2 cannons, and so the Zerg doesn't have a lot of workers on his end, but it does force the Protoss to really. If you do not respect the possible threats that are coming here, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And, of course, the first probe was picked off. So now the Protoss player is stuck in his base. He doesn't know what's coming. And, as you mentioned, Artosis, a layer is almost finished now. So, I mean, there's going to be real tech threats here that are intended to punish a Forge opening player. Keep in mind that because it was not a gateway opening with Zealot pressure, all the intel's gone, man, right? That's one of the features of this build is Protoss.
Yeah.
Now he's in the dark, and it looks like it's going to be maybe a lurker bust, maybe a drop.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a lurker drop. That's the first thing that kind of came to mind with the speed of which he got the gas. Like, it doesn't seem like you can actually support Mutalisks with anything this quick. So let's see about that. Do you think like a forward lurker bust where you just run up and bro them at the wall, or do you think it's more of the drop variety?
I think it's the drop variety, but honestly, there's really nothing wrong with doing a forward lurker bust as well. I think that's the strength of the drop specifically is that these lurkers are coming out so fast. You basically want to drop them before the Corsair kills the Overlord. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know, you're working off very, very little, by the way. Oh, and now it's definitely going to be a drop because the third cannons come here. Although I'm sure the drop was already being upgraded. But just looking at this, you know, you can see that the Protoss is kind of scared.
Yeah.
We have cannons that are being made immediately because I think, you know, like anybody who's watched a lot of this matchup, you do think Hydra Rush when you can't get out and you don't see speedlings, right? He knows the lings are slow.
Well, the Hydras are all kind of in the center. He did pull the Overlords back quite a bit. So I'm not, like, I thought it was dropped, but with how far back the Overlords are going, it almost feels like they're trying to avoid Corsairs rather than get into positions for drops. Now, the Corsair going to start moving through the center of the map. It is going to find this Overlord that's trying to get away, but he is going to skip over it and go for that quick scout. Oh my god, he cancels one of the cannons!
Wow. Okay, I'm totally wrong. I thought it would be a drop, but I see the idea. The link speed comes out late. And what he wants to do is basically just stomp all over the cannons here. And you can see he's immediately remade them now. He sees more lings. He realizes something's coming. He sees the 3 lurkers. And you just have to get as many cannons as you can.
Yeah,
and the lurkers are going to spam down the zealots so that the lings can get in and then fight the cannons.
Oh my god, the probe's doing a good job at first of blocking, but now the ling's getting on top of some of these cannons. The lurkers adding in their damage as well. The last cannon pops. There is another cannon about to finish, and he will end up holding Shuttle with a beautiful hold here to start.
Oh my god, and he's killing off the Overlords. Beast is now supply blocked. Now you want to be careful. I don't think it's the biggest threat, but just some ideas to point out here. You could maybe end up, if you have enough distractions, enough kind of cannon fodder, so to speak, as a Zerg, you could have the lurker run up above the minerals, but I think really all you need to have here is the cannons finish, and the Corsairs keep killing Overlords, and Zerg has been checkmated.
Yeah, this does not feel like it is a very winnable position at this point. Like, he's kind of going after the wall, but the Corsairs have the full story. A huge supply block. There's almost no drones over here to speak of. 2 at the natural, one of which is making a gas, and a Spire on the way. Desperation here for Beast.
Okay, supply blocked once more. The Corsair count's going to continue to go up. And, I mean, you know, I think that we're at the point where the cannons can't really do anything. And you notice he's microing this to the point where it's like he's okay with the Corsairs taking damage. He knows if he just, you know, causes development gridlock on the Zerg side of the map, then the game is going to end. You know, all you have to do now is keep making probes and attacking. And that Robo in the very back, that's the answer to all of this. Reavers, Observers, Corsairs comboed with Shuttle Reaver as well is a great way to get your own play in against the Zerg. If you look at the mini-map, the Corsairs are combing the far left side of the map to basically just find any stray Overlords. There's one actually down in the bottom center, kind of hiding in plain sight almost. And Mutatech's going to be the next play, but I think that there's enough Corsairs here. I don't know about +1, but I think the real story is just the number of Corsairs that are in the game, where he could start to win fights here as well.
Yeah, comes in with the Corsairs, and only loses 1 Corsair and takes down 6 Scourge there. So still trading efficiently enough here. Shuttle getting way far ahead. Pops yet another Overlord as well. That 1 lurker, though, Tastosis, it's making progress.
I know, he's slowly taking down all the buildings over here. And so this is almost over. I mean, it's almost, if not already, 100% a Protoss win. The probe saturation is so rich. Zerg's on 2 hatches with okay-ish tech, but the reality is the Protoss pretty soon you're going to have more gates than he knows what to do with, and the Zerg is never going to have enough larvae in this game coming out to ever produce or compare to this. And now that all the Scourge have been lost, I mean, you know, it's a pitiful position, honestly, here for the Zerg.
It really is. It's like I appreciate the move, running the Lings to take the cannon hits and hope the Scourge hit, but Shuttle just right-clicks them back to his base. The cannons clear everything, and this is going to be GG here.
Yeah,
like,
he can actually kill these these Scourge and Mutas, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it's over, man.
Yeah. It's not looking too high. Okay, he's retreated that one hero lurker that killed the wall in. So now you know that Beast is serious. Okay, he's going to try to stop this incoming attack. The Muta's coming up, and so do the Scourge. Uh-oh, the Corsair's there, pushing everything back.
This is going to end because the Zealots can kill the Hydras on the ground. There's an observer with this, right? Yeah, there is. So he just wins the ground fight, and then the Corsairs win the air fight, and then there's just absolutely nothing left in the game that the Zerg can do. He comes in there right with the speed. The observer stays alive. GG. Best is eliminated.
Beast.
That means Shuttle moves
Beast
on.
is eliminated. Best one in the group.
I was just testing you. Sorry. I tried to cheese out the end of that cast.
Well, you're in good company then, Tasteless. Beast tonight, making it a very quick night. All the games extremely one-sided. Extremely one-sided. And, I mean, you know, the 2 players that you had predicted did end up advancing. Barracks not being able to really show what he's made of whatsoever. Beast, you know, honestly, like, a Beast has, like I mentioned, he's very aggressive coming into tonight, but I wasn't expecting this level of aggression.
Yeah, and I also wonder what his next showings are going to be. There's nothing wrong with playing like this, right? I mean, this is certainly... I mean, he almost got out of this group. But he definitely is signaling that he does not want to play straight up, which makes it very easy to plan against unless he's also able to, you know, to macro as well as he can cheese when the cameras are in his face, when he's on a stage, when the world is watching.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll see him again, I'm sure. You know, maybe next time 8:15 is in the studio, bring his mouse pad and get it signed by the other cheesy Zerg that does well. But we're going to go to an interview, it looks like, real quick here with Shuttle and see how he's feeling about holding off the cheeses and advancing.
ASL 시즌 13 24강 A조 경기 모두 함께 하셨습니다. 오늘은 2 선수 모두 프로토스가 16강에 진출했는데요. 2번째 프로토스 진출자 김윤중 선수와 함께 하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
위기는 있었지만 역시 김윤중 선수는 노련했습니다. 2시즌 만에 16강 진출을 다시 한번 이뤄내셨는데요. 먼저 소감부터 들어볼까요?
우선 마지막 경기가 너무 손 떨려가지고 긴장을 너무 많이 했어요. 그래서 올라가서 다행이네요.
앞선 경기들에서 유진우 선수가 워낙 운영보다는 한 방을 노리는 승부수 전략을 던졌기 때문에 김윤정 선수가 초반부터 좀 수비에 집중하는 모습이 있었어요. 그럼에도 불구하고 그 4캐논 캐논을 취소했을 때는 진짜 아찔했을 것 같거든요.
그러니까 제가 생각을 많이 했어요. 유진우 선수가 올인을 2번 했잖아요. 절대 3번은 안 하겠지라는 생각도 있었어요. 그래가지고 아무것도 안 오네 하고 컷도 취소했는데 올인이더라고요. 그래가지고 헐레벌떡 막 지었던 것 같아요. 예.
그 순간에 빠르게 다시 한번 캐논을 건설하면서 위기의 순간을 럴커를 잘 막아내고 최종전에서 승리를 거두셨습니다. 오늘 경기 전 인터뷰에서 오늘 경기 정말 열심히 준비해 오셨다라는 이야기를 해주셨는데 아무래도 황병영 선수와의 첫 번째 경기 굉장히 적극적으로 가스러시까지 하는 모습들이 있었거든요. 그 경기를 혹시 준비해 오셨던 전략인 건가요?
근데 이클립스 테란전 너무 자신 있어가지고 그거보다는 약간 뒤쪽에 재욱이 형한테 좀 준비를 했었는데 그때 실수를 너무 많이 해가지고 빌드가 좀 엉킨 것 같아요. 예.
이 풋부전 도재욱 선수에게 아쉽게 승자전에서 패배하긴 했지만 그래도 이 테란전에서 자신 있는 모습 그리고 저그전에서도 역시 노련한 모습을 김윤중 선수가 다시 한번 보여줬습니다. 프로토스가 굉장히 강세를 보일 것으로 예상되는 이번 시즌이에요. 김윤중 선수가 또 그 중심에 있지 않을까 하는 기대를 많은 분들이 하고 계실 것 같아요. 본인의 예상은 어떠신가요?
우선 전 시즌 우승자 변현재 선수가 자기 픽을 이제 조심혁 때 저한테 써준다 그랬거든요.
오, 네.
네, 그래가지고 조금 쉬운 상대랑 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
그랬기 때문에 오늘 16강 진출이 더 간절했을 것 같습니다.
예.
과연 김윤중 선수가 이번 시즌 어떤 행보를 보일지 기대되는데요. 팬들에게도 한 말씀 남겨주시죠.
이번 시즌은 조금 더 열심히 해가지고 8강, 4강 결승 한번 노려보겠습니다. 감사합니다.
기대하겠습니다. 다시 한번 진출 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 24강 A조 두 번째 16강 진출자 김윤중 선수와 함께했습니다.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Group A. It definitely followed a certain theme today. I do wonder how Group B and the rest of our groups are going to look, but we had some very explosive, action-packed games here. A lot of cheese shut down, but that 4-pool did manage to come through for us. I don't know, Artosis, your thoughts?
Honestly, this was like probably going to be the worst night that we have this season. Very one-sided, and
yeah.
I'm much more looking forward to Group B and really all the rest of the groups. Group B is actually quietly stacked, man. Look at that. Light and Bisu, two of the very best of their races. Tyson and Saxry, both very underrated for their races. I think Tyson is in great shape right now, and Saxry is always one of the stronger Zergs that just doesn't get talked about because Zerg has players like Hero and Soma and Queen.
Right. I think Saxry is a real threat here.
Yeah.
I don't know, how active Bisu is. I mean, he's always good enough that he should be able to qualify for an ASL, but is he able to kind of get through groups like this or even, a little bit past this? That's going to be one of the big questions we got to ask ourselves here as we go into, this season. Because I think Bisu versus Saxry, I actually think maybe Saxry may be a little bit favored here.
You might be right about that. Like, Saxry's really good. You cannot sleep on that guy. I do look at this,
been
though.
Off the radar for a little bit. We just don't know how he's going to play.
Yeah, and honestly, I look at that group Tastosis. I think Light might be just the favorite overall of it. I think he's probably the most stable player. And
I think so.
Bisu not really known for his Protoss versus Terran anyways, right? He's kind of better at the other two matchups. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. That one's going to be coming out very soon. Thank you guys for being patient while we get out this first episode of ASL, but everything else is going to come a lot quicker. Thank you once again for everyone supporting us on the Patreon. Check it out, patreon.com/ASL English.
We love you guys. Take care, stay safe, and we will have Group B out very, very soon. We're going to get right on that recording. We love you. Bye-bye.